all right. I really have a very short period of time. I have a lot of interviews. This is going to be a packed show. Actually, I can't really get too much into anything as far as the Oscars. All I can say is that I predicted it with Moonlight and Zootopia winning. So that's basically all I can say. I know I can go one other thing right quick because it's very quick. What happened with in Texas as far as the transgender boy winning the girls wrestling championship. I mean, I guess I kind of quote that State Farm commercial. Well, he's a guy. So anyway, I got to go straight into the interviews. First interview is going to be with someone that is a political hero of mine. His name's Andrew Wilkow. He's on SiriusXM, and he's going to be the first interview, and I'm going to start there, and it's going to be for the next 45 minutes. So I hope you enjoy it all, and here we go.
Hello, this is Politichick.com. My name is Brian Bledsoe here at CPAC, and for me personally, I'm meeting one of my political heroes, because if it wasn't for this guy, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. Andrew Wilkow with the Wilkow Majority. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. So this is not my first CPAC. I know this is not yours, but how many CPACs have you been to?
You know, oddly, and I'll admit, I never thought to come here when I first started. I know that sounds really counterintuitive. So this is only my third CPAC. We decided a few years ago that, like, hey, maybe we should start going to CPAC. So this is only my third. I know that sounds ridiculous, but yeah, number 3 for me.
Now, like I said in the beginning, I know personally because I've been listening to you for a long time. So I remember hearing that. And so I actually remember when you said you was coming, and I'm like, man, now I want to go even more. So now, as far as the atmosphere here compared to last year, it's definitely different given the fact that because they elected Donald Trump. So how do you describe the atmosphere now?
Well, there's a lot less media, which is odd, and there's a lot less politicians. I mean, there are politicians here. You know, we got to talk to Governor Sam Brownback, Governor Matt Bevin, but this is not like a cavalcade of senators and congressmen this year. I don't know if that's because the election season is over, or some of them may not be that happy about the outcome of the election. I don't know, but and I can't be the one to tell you about the trends. This is only my third time here, but from last year and 2 years ago, there were way more politicians and there was way more media.
Yeah, we mentioned trends because I host a little podcast called TrendChat. So I try to look up on trends, but I know from last year it was definitely cautiously optimistic. Given with the election coming up, people was kind of holding back. They was kind of happy, but they were like just wondering what was going to happen later on in the year. But I guess people seemed a little more, a lot more celebratory as far as just because knowing that they have at least a Republican in the White House.
Well, it's funny. I don't endorse during primaries, presidential primaries. But what's funny is that I've heard more than one person say it. Given all the Make America Great Again hats that you're seeing here, lots of them, that there have been some voices saying, let's remind some of these people what they themselves were saying 2 years ago when Trump made his first appearance. It's kind of funny that so many people want you to forget that they may have been totally anti-Trump, that they were probably, for Jeb or someone more establishment. It's kind of funny that all that never Trump stuff is gone, and almost everything is an ocean of Make America Great Again hats.
Well, I know a lot of people just feel like they have to, I guess, basically just fall in line because they know who's in the office for the next 4 years.
This CPAC in the past 2 years really, and you got to remember, Rand Paul won the straw poll, that the sort of anti-establishment mood, the libertarian influence, the throw them all out mentality, we've had enough of some of these establishment names, that's really kind of taken over here. That it's sort of been enough is enough with the establishment, and if you're seeing a few less politicians here, that's probably one of the reasons why.
Now, like I said before, I definitely have been listening to your show personally, and I'm pretty much, I know the answer to this, but I want my listeners to hear, what does the word conservative mean to you?
Well, I always say if you don't like the word conservative, try preservative. That it's not, more people who are, I guess, progressives know what they know about conservatives from other progressives. So when I think of conservatism, or what it means to be a conservative, it means to, kind of adhere to what works. That when you look at the Constitution, that the purpose of dividing government, of not allowing any one person or entity within government to rule without question, that you not only divide the federal government, you divide the government between the states and the federal government, that each has a role to play, and we should force them to stay within the boundaries of that role. I think that preserves the intent of a free people. Some think that it's on and on and on about social issues, or on and on and on about socioeconomic issues and income inequality, that somehow conservatives want to always preserve the status quo. Most conservatives, when they look at a problem, look at the means to an end differently than a liberal or a Democrat. So right now, if we all agree that low-income children need a better shot at a better education. I think the conservative would look at say, well, what works? Well, we've tried the public education model, the top-down monopolized public education model for over 100 years. It's clearly not working. The Democrats would say, well, we need more federal funding. So we are looking for what works, and then once it works, we want to preserve it. So we know competition makes things better, so most conservatives want to see a competitive environment in education. That's what I think it means to be a conservative.
Okay. Well, I want to say personally, thank you personally, for all that you've done. You're a big influence for me. Listen to your show. I listen to your show all the time.
Look, the truth is, if you can inspire somebody else to pick up a microphone or start a blog or a podcast, that's an honor, because it means you've actually reached somebody who now feels as passionate about the same things as you do and wants to carry it forward in their own way.
Actually, well, one other question on what advice do you give for me as far as just doing just a podcast, just being an active voice?
I hate to be cliche. I love research. I love looking. When we're talking about a bill, like for example with the Trump executive orders, I went and read the whole of the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952. I'm not waiting for the media to give me the Cliff's Notes versions. I now have a working knowledge from reading the bill, and when I go on the air and say, of course this is within the power of the presidency. Why? Because the Congress in 1952 made it a function of the presidency. This is not an argument we're having. This is a political decision. I think when you dedicate the time to actually doing the research, I think it makes everything you do better.
Well, that's great advice, and we actually shared a movie together. Alex Shrugged 3. Yes, I was in that. Have a very short clip, and Andrew was in there as well. And
oddly, I played a newscaster. That was kind of weird for me. I'm not a newscaster, but I played a newscaster.
Yeah, so I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
All right.
And that was Andrew Wilkow, and like I said, for me, that was a kind of a personal highlight. And I'm going to go right into the next one. Like I said, got a lot more interviews. Actually, the next guests are someone that I guess fill in for Andrew from time to time on SiriusXM Patriot, Tom and Deneen Borelli. And good friends of mine. I'm glad for what they have been able to do for me as far as encouraging and just being all around good people. And here's my interview with them.
All right, this is Politichick.com. My name is Brian Bledsoe here at CPAC. We have Tom and Deneen Borelli from, I guess it'd be Fox News, Conservative Review. I guess it would be Fox. Y'all have so many credentials, so I'll let y'all both say.
It's hard for us to keep up as well, but
I'm confused.
Freedom fighters.
All right, yeah. So I know this is not your first CPAC, so how many CPACs have y'all been to?
I actually lost count, to tell you the truth, because we try to come every year. It's a great event. It's always great to see the same faces. It's like a little family reunion.
Okay. And Tom, so
I've been coming on and off for, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years, because when I used to work for a big company, I used to come representing the company. Then there was a pause. Now we're back as political conservative activists.
So, I guess the atmosphere here is, I guess we'll say it would be different than it was last year. So how you would describe it from last year to this year?
I think it's a really great crowd. I don't know what the actual head count is, but it's a lot of people. People appear to be very excited, engaged, and just happy to be here. A lot of people have come up to me and just shake my hand. We're taking photos. I mean, people are really excited and upbeat. They're excited about the message. We have President Trump who's coming today. So the breadth of speakers is really, I think, off the charts. I think it's just a great event.
Yeah, and last year, remember, it was during the time when all the Republicans were fighting each other. So it was like, who's going to be the Republican nominee? Oh my God, Hillary Clinton's going to win. Who's going to be is Trump really serious? Is he really going to run? Is his run serious? Is he going to be able to win? So now it's about rallying around the issues that Trump is driving, which is, more jobs, less regulations, and a great energy policy.
Now, both of you are on Conservative Review, and a question I've been asking everyone is just, what does the word conservative mean to you?
Well, from the panel I was on yesterday, it's about individual, not government. And one of the things that one of the panels talked about is our individual liberties and our rights, and the importance of protecting those rights, because it's about people being able to do whatever they want as long as they're not harming anyone else. And so that's how I see it.
More liberty, less government.
So, Deneen, you spoke yesterday.
Yesterday morning, yeah.
So, what did you speak on?
I did a summary of the panel that spoke. There were 4 people that talked yesterday, and it was conservatism, where we are, where we're going, and I gave a summary of what the speakers talked about. And the crowd was really engaging, very involved, and again, one laid out the history of conservatism, the other talked about what we need to do to preserve it, and also what we are facing today when it comes to progressives and how they're trying to infiltrate our movement. So that's basically what the panel was about.
Okay. And Tom, did you have any speaking, I guess?
I'm speaking tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow, I think 11:15. We're talking about the politically correct culture, and my little assignment is talking about the politically correct CEOs, the CEOs who are progressives and those who are bullied from really pursuing conservative policies.
Okay. And also, something I asked, especially amongst black conservatives in particular, is that what would you tell someone who is not saying they want to become a conservative, but is just questioning progressive ideology, and they want to speak out, but they're afraid of being ostracized? I mean, what your words of encouragement would be to them?
Well, they should talk to you. But no, and I mean that seriously. You've come a long way, and we're really proud of what you're doing. We know you're a hard worker, and we know that you love country, and that everything that you're doing, because we've seen you at different events. We know you are playing your role, and we know that you're working hard, and we thank you for that. But I would say to those who are on the fence or who are afraid to stand up, because sadly, in a lot of cases, people don't get involved until they are directly affected by something. Obamacare is one example. So if you're looking at what's going on in the news, think about how it's going to affect you and your family. Forget about the labels. Does this help you or hurt you?
I don't want to cut you off, but don't worry about the backlash.
Absolutely. I like that title.
Well, if anyone don't know, your book is named
Blacklash: How Obama and the Left Are Driving Americans to the Government Plantation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. That was Tom and Deneen Borelli. Really, that was it was fun catching up with them, and right now I guess we're gonna move straight to I guess my interview with the Black Conservative Foundation. Talked to two members there. The founder, his name is Diante Johnson, and Marv Allen. So here's my interview with them.
Hi, this is Brian Bledsoe for Politichick.com here at CPAC. We have the Black Conservative Federation, and we have...
I'm Diante Johnson, founder and president of the Black Conservative Federation.
Marv Allen, vice president of the Black Conservative Federation.
And is this your first CPAC, or how many CPACs have you been to?
I was here for one event last year, but other than that, this is my first full event.
This is my first event, CPAC.
So what do you think about it all?
Oh, I'm loving it. Definitely think that a lot of people are a lot happier than the past CPAC, so we actually have someone in office to change things. And, Trump came in here today, didn't really speak a conservative message, but people still loved it. So I think you're seeing that populism is taking over the party, which is good. We need moderate views and conservative views.
I think once the president came, it brought so much unity. There was unity throughout the room. Everyone was excited. Everyone was ready for what the president has to do. Everyone's excited with the president because, since he's been in office, he's one of the few politicians that's actually done what he said he was going to do.
So what do you think of his speech overall?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, it's typical Donald Trump, He speaks on the script and goes off of it and speaks his mind, And I feel like the energy in the room was really essential, and people really did unite, like I said, because this is a faction party, if you think it or not, because we had to bring people together each 4 years to win an election. Simple as that.
I think his speech was great. He's a very smart man. You can notice the difference between his rally speeches and then a speech as in this format, because we're all focused on policy here. We're all focused on deep politics of what's going on in our country. And so he really related to that when he started mentioning about Obamacare, TPP, and really getting in depth with those things, because he knew that we all policy here and we really want to know the meat of his administration. So he did a great job with that.
Okay. And well, given that we're here at CPAC, the question I've been asking everyone is that, so what does the word conservative mean to you?
So conservative means economic stability, educational reform, bringing school choice back into the system, because a lot of people don't have the necessary ability to receive a proper education. So we also need help with that, but also it's about individualism. Not only looking after yourself, but for your community and your people, and that's the American people. We have black, we have white, we have purple, yellow, but at the end of the day, we're all Americans.
Conservatism to me means equality, justice for all, and prosperity. I believe conservatism drives upon that, and that's what we plan to create through the conservative movement.
Okay, so with the Black Conservative Federation, so basically, what's the mission statement and everything that you look to accomplish with this organization?
Our mission statement is our goal is to elevate the Black conservative movement. Our mission statement is to reach those individuals by providing economic stability, educational support, and community involvement.
Yeah, that's pretty much our mission statement, and we want to bring everyone together, all for one for all, because, like I said, we have one identity, and that's American identity, and we need to start focusing on that, and not what actually divides us, because there is still systematic racism in our country, but we got to work with the other communities to get rid of that, and I think we will.
Now, I wasn't here for the panel that about. I guess it was with Wayne Dupree and Sonny Johnson, and kind of talking in those. I guess on the subject. But were any of you at that? I wasn't either. Okay, well we just skipped that part. But if I guess being Black conservatives, I definitely deal with a lot of name calling and everything that goes with it, the scorn. And so, what would you say to the person that maybe they're not even thinking about becoming a conservative or whether a libertarian or whatnot? They're just questioning progressive ideology that's going on in their neighborhood. What would you tell them as some form of encouragement in case they're apprehensive as far as speaking out?
I tell them to do their research. The biggest thing that you can do is find out for yourself. People can tell you to be conservative all they want. People can tell you to be liberal all you want. But the thing about it is you have to do your research and get an understanding from yourself, because once you become those things, you have to be able to then defend why you're that. And so the best way to do that is do your research. And I guarantee you, once they do the research, they will immediately become conservative. And after they realize that the conservative movement is the party of civil rights, they're the party for justice, they're the party for equality. And so I think the biggest thing is doing your research. And once you do the research, you're going to fall in place.
Yeah, like you said, we need to start educating the other side, because a lot of, like as myself, I thought I was a Democrat because I was black, but that's not the case. I do respect fiscal conservatism. I want a strong military, and I want national security and border security. And at the end of the day, Democrats do provide a lot of good things for people, but it's costly, and it's going to make us even more tax burden. This is how we got into $19.8 trillion of debt. There's other ways to help communities other than just giving out stuff. It's about giving out opportunities, not results, because we have to start focusing on equality and justice, but equal opportunity. Not everyone.
So you have anything coming up?
No, we just asked that everyone visit our page at www.blackconservativefederation.com. Our Facebook page, you can key in Black Conservative Federation. Our Twitter at BCF official _ same as for Instagram at BCF official _ Follow us. If you want to get involved, get on our website, send us a message on Facebook. We have a contact form on our website that you can contact. We would love to have you involved and get involved in the Black conservative movement.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. We've been meeting a lot of black conservatives over the past 2 days, and also other conservatives, and they really do want to support us, and I think we're going to get a lot of not only funding, but help when it comes to going to these inner cities, because it's not going to be an easy job by any means. We definitely need some training. And we did meet with the Blacks for Trump today, and we're going to sit down with them and start working on a project, to really educate the communities that conservatism is better than liberalism, if you think about it, because you want the ability to rise up in economic levels. And with liberalism, they kind of put you in one spot, and you stay in that one spot because they keep giving you without thinking, hey, I want to do something for myself. I don't want to be receiving handouts. We need to work for our own people. The American people, not just color people. And it's really sad to see that people are starting to segregate back into their communities after Martin Luther King wanted us to integrate. He wanted to have a dream where white people and black people wanted to sit at the same table, go to the same restaurants, go to the same bathrooms. And now we see a lot of people like the Black Lives Matter movement trying to, have this black empowerment movement that Malcolm X promoted. And we saw the rivalry between Malcolm X and MLK. I think that's going to come back between black conservatives and black progressives, and it's going to be interesting. But I think we will win the battle on logistics and reasoning, because we are, I might say we're more intelligent, but we do have more based arguments, not on an emotional pill.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, and really appreciate them for their time, and maybe down the road we'll probably be doing something together and something in Texas. So next up is someone who is also with Politichick.com. She was there as well to promote a book that she has, a children's book, and I actually a little messed up as far as saying that it was a coloring book, but it's just a regular children's book, and her name is Susan Swift, and here's my interview with her.
And hello, this is Politichicks.com. My name is Brian Bledsoe, and I am here with a fellow Politichick, Susan Swift.
Hi.
And we're both here at CPAC. We're covering the event, but I am talking with Susan in particular about her new, I guess you call children's coloring book.
No, it's a children's storybook. It's called Good Guys with Guns at Home. It's the first in a series. I'm going to have 3 books. The first one is Good Guys with Guns at Home, and that's a book for young children about everyday heroes who use guns to protect Americans at home. So it's essentially about the police, and it's trying to counter what we're seeing in our culture, which is, Black Lives Matter and the Soros gangs and everything, trying to basically have us not respect the law and also not respect those who enforce the law. And I think it's very important that we recognize the police officers who are there, every creed and every color, and they protect us from the bad guys. What stops a bad guy with a gun? A good guy with a gun. And so this is what that book's about. The other two in the series are Good Guys with Guns Abroad, and that's going to be about our military who serve our Americans overseas, and then Good Guys with Guns in American History, and that'll start with our President George Washington and on down from there.
So how did this idea come about for you to
I'll tell you. Well, this is at my children's preschool, and it was a kind of a Christmas pageant where parents get to come and see their kids and, do something, make cookies or whatever with the kids. And a police officer was a parent, and he came by after he was off duty, and he has a K-9 unit, and he's in full dress uniform with his sidearm, and he comes on in the classroom. He gets there a little late, stands in the back. A liberal mom is totally triggered and starts freaking out that there is a police officer with a gun in the classroom, and she starts freaking out. Everybody there tells him, no, it's okay, it's the dad, it's okay. His wife is even there saying, no, it's my husband, we're here for the pageant. The preschool teacher, everybody knows that this guy is the father of the child, and he's not coming to arrest anybody or anything like that. That didn't matter to this liberal mom. She was still saying, he shouldn't be in the classroom because he's got a gun. There should not be a gun. And so this police officer finally just said, I just got to go out of here. So he left the classroom. She didn't even leave it at that. She ended up contacting the captain and insisting that he couldn't come and pick up his daughter, couldn't come within the school, and so she made it so toxic for him that they finally just decided to leave the school. And I said, first you get mad, but then you say, I got to have a little bit of fun with this. And so that's where the idea for the book was born, and it was, we got to start educating the snowflake babies, these little preschoolers, so that they can start, really realizing that police officers, the men and women, the thin blue line, that's the only thing that protects us from the bad guys and that enforces our laws.
So you said this is your first CPAC?
This is my very first CPAC, yes.
So what do you think about everything?
Oh, it's amazing. It's so exciting. And there's so much activity. And to hear Donald Trump speak, the room was electric. It was filled to capacity. And the people were chanting, USA, USA. And it was like the campaign all over again. He's campaigning again to the American people to advance his presidency now. He's getting the people to try to back him because he needs it desperately, since the media is against him and the Democrats are against him and the establishment is against him.
So I'm guessing you definitely liked the speech. I mean, anything in particular that stands out?
There were elements of the kind of the nationalistic kind of tone, which is, I'm kind of on the fence about. I'm very pro-American, but I'm a little bit worried about the idea of trade sanctions and things like that. He didn't really touch on that much in the speech, but I really did like the sentiment and the feel of the excitement in the room. I did really appreciate when he said that we were going to be getting, the drug guys and the criminal aliens the hell out of our country. I loved that. People cheered that. And another line that resonated with me was when they said they will make sure that they're going to destroy, they're going to obliterate ISIS, and we're going to make sure that Islamic terrorism gets the hell out of our country, or something like that. That's what he said. I thought that was wonderful. So I want our borders protected. I want America to be its own nation. I don't want it to be part of a global network, if you will. And he touched on that, and so I think that's good. So far I've seen it with his cabinet. It's a very, very conservative cabinet. I know that the people here at CPAC, the conservatives, they seem to be taking to him readily, and I am suspending a little bit of judgment to see how the trade and the taxes go. I don't want him to get into a trade war with people. I think that the free market is a better way to go with trade partners. But you know what? I'm going to wait and see, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and see how he's going. So right now what he's saying is sure wonderful, and so far what he's been doing in the executive orders and the actions that he has been taking, they're all true blue, 100% American, and I like it so far.
So, being here at CPAC, being the Conservative Political Action Conference, I've asked everyone this question. So, what does the word conservative mean to you?
Conservative Conservative means we believe in the Constitution, we believe in traditional values, we believe in our country and the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness under the natural law. That's what conservatives mean to me. Conservatives.
All right. Well, Susan Swift, a fellow Politichick. So we're both are here covering the event, but also your book.
I got to ask you a question now.
Oh, go ahead.
Have you told anybody what you think conservatism means to you? It's your turn now, Brian.
Well, no one's asked me the question.
Well, no, I just did.
Well, for me, I kind of go back to the word conservative in itself as far as the definition. So, conserve. So, let's go to the I guess break it down. Conserve. So, you want to conserve what? So, I would say conserve the principles that has founded this nation. So I go as deep into the word when I think about conservatism, and so because some people maybe not see it that way, they kind of just have like cliche lines and whatnot. But I just see like, okay, I want to conserve something, and what I want to conserve is what has made this country great, being the enumerated powers in the Constitution. Those are the things I want to conserve. Therefore, I am a conservative.
There you go. You want to save the country just like I do. Yay!
Susan
It works for me.
Susan Swift, thank you. And your book, once again, is?
It's called Good Guys with Guns at Home. It's available on Amazon and also through my website, which is susanswift.net. And they can go through susanswift.net and they can connect to all of the articles at politichicks.com that I've written. And they can also find the book there for sale.
And given that we're both with Politichicks, we both want to say hello to Anne-Marie Morrell.
Hey, Anne-Marie! We love Politichicks!
All right, thank you for your time.
And thanks to Susan Swift for her time. And that was a question I asked most people. I think I asked almost everyone about what does the word conservative mean to you, and she asked and flipped it back to me. And for me, I do go back to the word conservative as far as wanting to conserve something. And so to conserve, I would say to conserve, I mentioned in that interview about the enumerated powers in the Constitution. Just want to conserve the best parts that has founded this country. Obviously there have been some things where there were very, horrible misdeeds that has happened, but those are not the things you want to conserve. I'm talking about the things as far as simple as like the enumerated powers in the Constitution. I go back to those, and by just sticking to those, that makes government very limited across the board. So that's my kind of simple definition of conservatism. And as you hear more interviews, you hear from other perspectives from various people as far as what it means to them. So let's keep it moving. Get to Scottie and Nell Hughes, who was the original Politichick, and here's my interview with her.
Hello, this is Politichicks.com. My name is Brian Bledsoe. I am with the Scottie Nell Hughes.
An original Politichick.
Yes,
I'm a Politichick. I'm in the original ones. I was the last one kicked out of the nest.
I was just about to get to that.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Also, you know what? I'm going to let you tell it. What is yours?
There you go. I've got a lot of titles, a lot of hats. Like most readers of Politichicks, their moms, their wives, their dads, they're all sorts that read it. But I guess officially where my paycheck is Right Alerts editor, the political editor for Right Alerts. But basically, I'm an American. I'm a patriot, and I believe that it was the patriots of this country that stayed engaged and got Donald Trump elected, not necessarily the strategist that we see a lot of here at the CPACs every year.
Well, speaking of Donald Trump, he did speak at a couple of hours ago, and so what do you think of the speech?
The speech was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was definitely a going over of everything he has done in his first 30 days. And the best line of the speech was, "I'm just fulfilling my promise." And the people who have been in meltdown over the last 30 days over what he has or has not done, it's not a shock. Everything he's done is exactly what he proposed. And I think they need to get there should be no, it's easy to predict what is going to be coming next with this administration. He's going to continue to tick down the things he said on the campaign trail. And I guess those poor liberals on the left, they're just not used to politicians fulfilling their word.
And that's, I would agree. I'm not going to get too much more into that. But I know this is not your first CPAC, so how many have you been to?
This is my sixth one, with my very first one actually being still my favorite one, because it was my Andrew Breitbart year. And I was just telling the story about it. I remember he was so excited because we had protesters outside. We had a lot of protesters outside. Oddly enough, more than we have here, which is crazy. But he was like a schoolgirl on the first day of school, just so excited to go out there and confront them and actually expose the lack of knowledge that these protesters then 6 years ago have, and we're finding out today don't have. That they actually don't have any depth to their protest, which is different from what we dealt with in 2008. And he even then went on to say we need to have our dog whistle, and we need to retweet the 8 and call out the liberals on their hate. And that is why we have today, I think, the culture crisis that we're having. It's because finally we are calling out the hate of the other side and not letting them get away with this double standard hypocrisy of do what I say, not what I do. And more importantly, that just because you're a conservative, you need to stay in your little box and you don't have First Amendment rights.
Yeah, and so the atmosphere from this year to last year, is different, because last year I guess people were more cautiously optimistic about the upcoming election, and now this year, now that we have someone in the White House that is with our values, it's a lot more celebratory mood. So
last year was definitely, it was guys said it was like going through a minefield in stilettos, and I can say that with Politichick because I love the shoe. It was because we were still fighting. In fact, I'm fighting half the people that was in the White House. We were fighting each other still. We were very much a divided party, and we were now starting to get into the very angry phase of the primary season going into Kansas. And so I'm very happy this year to see that we're at least all on board, and we're seeing the success rate with it, which is exactly why those of us that were with the Trump team from the very beginning, that's how we feel vindication and success, is by seeing these promises for then, and conservatives realize that he really was the best choice for the primaries.
Yeah, and so given that we are here at CPAC, which is the Conservative Political Action Conference, now I've been asking everyone, so what does the word conservative mean to you?
That's interesting, because I remember, conservative was the C word. It was a curse word back in 2008. No politician wanted to be conservative. That was a bad word, and now here we are in 2016, and it's like people who are not conservatives are claiming they're conservative. But the key about conservatives is I think it comes down to self-responsibility, putting the burden more on your own back, putting the burden for taking care of yourself on giving that responsibility to you and your actions rather than the federal government.
Okay, and also, I'm pretty sure people can find more about conservatism in your book as well.
I know, roar! It's like, and that was my motivation for the last 2 years, how I went through what I did, because the last line of that book was, I will do everything in my power to make sure that Hillary Clinton is not in the Oval Office. That was literally the last line. And so every time that it got difficult, or it was definitely pressure, it was always, I promised my readers that, but roar still definitely is in purpose, because we still have to fight. The fight is actually just beginning, if you haven't noticed, with the liberal left. And then we need to tell them that you can crochet as many little knitted hats as you want, but that does not mean that you're fighting for the rights of American women or Americans at all.
Yes, I will say one of my favorite quotes is, eternal vigilance is the price of freedom. Now, people have said that in different ways, and some have attributed to Thomas Jefferson, but whoever it is, that's one of my favorite quotes. So
I absolutely love that one. One of my other one is, you can always tell the quality of a person by the character of their enemies. And if you look at right now the character of our enemies as conservatives, we're on the right side.
Hello, this is Politichick.com. I'm Brian Bledsoe, and I am with Dr. Kelli Ward, who is running for U.S. Senate. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian. It's always good to see you in person, not just on social media. I love it, or in Arizona. I love to see you in Arizona, but it's good to see you at CPAC.
And full disclosure, I am a volunteer that try to help out with the campaign as much as possible, given I am in Texas, but I do try to come out to Arizona to help out.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You know, it takes people who are politically minded and willing to sacrifice if we really want to change Washington and drain the swamp.
Okay, so I said that you are running for U.S. Senate, but I want you to give the full details as far as who you're running against and everything that goes with it.
All right. Yes, I am running for U.S. Senate in 2018. I will be challenging Senator Jeff Flake, who is arguably one of the biggest members of the swamp in D.C. He's been there for almost 18 years, ran on a term limit pledge, actually, and then pulled that back and has stayed in Washington because apparently the swamp is pretty nice and comfortable. He's been terrible on many things. He ran as a social and a fiscal conservative, but he's done things like fund Planned Parenthood, support Merrick Garland for the Supreme Court, voted for TPP, voted for bailouts of Puerto Rico, voted to reinstate the Ex-Im Bank. The list goes on and on and on. He definitely must not have read the Republican Party platform. 2016, I'm really proud of that platform because it's very, very conservative. It's one of the most conservative we've had in years, and I think that we should be holding our elected officials' feet to the fire. We have to police our own within the Republican Party, and unfortunately, it's time for Jeff Flake to go and for a new, fresh, bold voice to go to Washington, D.C. to represent the people of Arizona. And even though people around the country cannot vote for me, I can vote for them. I can't wait to get there and serve the people.
And I know this is not your first CPAC, so how many have you been to?
I've been to the last 4 in a row, and it's been great. It's amazing to be surrounded by conservative activists of all ages, all colors, all shapes, all sizes, all here for one reason, and that's to make our country great.
Yeah, and so given that you've been to the past 4, the atmosphere here is quite different than it was from last year.
Yeah.
So how would you describe it this year?
Yeah. Well, last year was a presidential election year. So, of course, there was a lot of hubbub, and there were candidates, all different candidates, and people weren't united. The conservatives weren't united because everybody had their own little faction, whether it was the Ted Cruz people or the Marco Rubio people or the Donald Trump people. I guess John Kasich might have had some people. I don't know. Ben Carson was here, and he made his announcement at CPAC last year that he was getting out of the race. He was stepping out of the way. And so the unity that we feel this year is not the same as it was. Last year was a little more contentious because there were different Republican factions, conservative factions trying to get their guy to the top.
So, going back to your Senate race, so what are you trying to build as far as your campaign going? So how is it going right now?
It's been phenomenal. We had a lot of momentum. Challenging John McCain was a big endeavor or ordeal. I don't know. And we learned a lot, and we grew a big team across Arizona and across the country. People who were supportive.
In Texas.
In Texas. Oh yes, Texas for sure. And so support of changing Washington D.C. And so now we're out. We're running again. I'm running again in 2018. And things are looking great. Newsmax just had a story out this week talking about a recent poll. I am up by 7 points on Jeff Flake. At this point, I expect to see that gap widen and widen and widen, with him continuing to decrease, and I will continue to soar because people are tired of D.C. insiders, GOP establishment type politicians who are only out for themselves and not out for us.
Okay. So now here's the question I've been asking everyone, given that we're here at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference. So I've asked everyone, what does the word conservative mean to you?
To me it means small government, low taxes, personal responsibility, and following the Constitution. I think that if we embrace that, then we as conservatives are going to have good government that is good for us right now and good for generations to come.
Okay. So you have anything coming up?
I do, of course. I've got lots of things coming up. I would love.
Well, other than the Senate race.
Yes, other than the Senate race. We're doing a lot of meeting people and fundraising. Really, this is the building year, building our team, making sure that people know who Dr. Kelli Ward is and what I stand for and what I want to actually do, not just talk about, but do for them in Washington, D.C., and raising money because, of course, it takes a lot to run a U.S. Senate campaign. It affects all of us across the nation. I have to travel all around the great state of Arizona. Last time I was outspent nearly 10-1 by John McCain. It took him over $10 million to defeat me. And so, I want to have the resources available when I need them so that we cross the finish line first in the primary and in the general. And I see that will happen.
And your website is?
KelliWard.com, Kelli with an I, KelliWard.com, because I am a conservative champion for the people.
Dr. Kelli.
And thank you to Dr. Kelli Ward. And I will talk to you.